Today's objective is today we'll continue working on my play review, keeping in mind that my review is due tomorrow, Friday, June 5th. Today, we are going to continue to work in stages 4 and 5 of the writing process. So we're still working on revising our work, and we're also working on editing it too. Now, some of us are also in stage 3, which means that we're writing some paragraphs. If you are in stage 3 and 4 and 5, that is totally fine and normal. We go back and forth between all of the stages in writing all the time. That's the really cool part about writing. Today I'm going to show you the final draft of my review for Sean's play. But before I show you that, let's go over the structure of a play review. A review starts with a beginning, which we would call an introduction. In your introduction, all you do is you tell your reader what your opinion is. We would also call an opinion your claim. For example, and as you all already know, I am reviewing Sean's play, and I believe that everyone should watch Sean's play. Now, in the middle, that's where you write your subtopic paragraphs. And in the case of writing reviews, your subtopics are just the reasons that you have for liking something. So in this particular case, you're going to give 3 different reasons for why you like a friend's play. For example, 2 days ago, you read my first subtopic for my play review for Sean's play, and I shared that I believe that Sean's play was super creative, and one way that it was super creative was because of the puppets that he decided to use. We also read my second subtopic paragraph, which is all about how Sean's play is very entertaining. But I didn't stop there because I still had one more subtopic paragraph that I needed to write, so I'm ready to share it with you today. The final paragraph in your review is the conclusion. In your conclusion, that's when you give your reader a next step. So all of us are going to give this same next step. Our next step is just going to be a recommendation to watch this play. I'm a day ahead of you, so I also have my conclusion for Sean's review ready. So I'll be sharing that with you today as well. Now I'm ready to read my entire review of Sean's play to you. So you'll notice that I have all 5 of my paragraphs, starting with my introduction, subtopic paragraph 1, subtopic paragraph 2, subtopic paragraph 3, and a very brief conclusion at the end. Now, you'll also notice that I went through all of my paragraphs and I edited and revised my work. So anything that's highlighted or crossed out, like these here, are parts that I decided to change up during stages 4 and 5 of the writing process. Off to the right-hand side, you can also see that even though I didn't do it in front of you, I did go back through each of my paragraphs, and I used this strategy, empathy lead the way, pretending as though I was a reader, and I asked myself, the writer, questions to make my writing even clearer. So as I'm reading my paragraphs, listen very closely to make sure that yours sounds similar. Here we go. Have you ever wondered about traveling through a wormhole that'll take you back in time? Well, you're in for a treat because Sean's play, My Wormhole Through Time, does just that, and it sure is a mighty adventure I recommend you take. That was my introduction. I strongly recommend watching Sean's shadow puppet play because it was super creative. One way Sean made his show very creative was by using unexpected puppets and props. For example, for one of his characters, he used a Wonder Woman action figure instead of drawing a woman on paper. He also thought to use a slinky as his wormhole. These were ideas that I never would have thought of myself, but really enjoyed seeing in his shadow puppet play. Another reason I strongly recommend watching Sean's play is because it was very entertaining. For example, he used lots of expressive voices for all of his characters. Each person we met had his or her own voice that matched the character. It was also very entertaining because Sean used lots of movement. For example, when a character was talking, he moved that puppet around instead of just holding it in place. This helped guide his audience members' attention to that specific character. Overall, Sean did a great job making his play entertaining for us to watch. Here's subtopic 3, which you haven't heard yet. The last reason I recommend watching Sean's play is because it sounds just like a story. Sean's play, My Wormhole Through Time, starts off with a beginning that pulls the audience in and leaves us wondering where it is headed. Then, Sean leads us to the middle part of his story where we learn all about his family's history. Finally, his play ends with a happily ever after. Since Sean had a beginning, middle, and ending in his play, it was very easy for his audience members to follow and enjoy. And here is my conclusion, very short. I guarantee that if you watch Sean's play, My Wormhole Through Time, you will have the greatest adventure you won't forget. Now, for today, you have 4 simple steps. So, step 1 is to set your writing timer for 30 minutes. Your second step is to revise and edit any paragraphs that you've not yet fixed up using our strategies that we've learned this week, to and or not to and. And remember, to and or not to and can be used with any word that you feel like has attacked your work. So look out for the it monster, the butt monster. Don't laugh at that. Look out for the she monster, the he monster, the her monster, the his monster. Any monster that seems to have attacked all of your writing. Words that you have just used way too much. And replace them with more specific nouns or names. Also remember to go back and review your writing using empathy lead the way. So asking yourself questions as though you are the reader. Then step 3 is to write subtopic 3 paragraph. And step 4 is to submit a photo of your work from today on Seesaw. Or if you did your work on Google, then you can just share your doc with your teacher. For those of you who have never shared a document on Google before, I'm just going to give you a quick lesson on how to do that. So you recognize this as my review of Sean's play, and you can see my mouse moving. So I'm going to take my mouse, and on the right-hand side, there's a blue button that says share. And then it has a couple of little people to the left of the word share. I click this button. Then this opens up. It says share with others, and then it says people. Inside of this bar, it says enter names or email addresses. Now, you're going to share your writing with your teacher. So if you're in Mrs. Catanasso's class, then you're going to type in Mrs. Catanasso's name. Mrs. Catanasso's name is Kristen Catanasso. You can see that as soon as I started to type her name, her email address popped up. So I could just click that. Now let's say you want to send it to Miss Garcia. Well, my name is Stephanie Garcia, so I can type in Stephanie. Oh, there's Logan's mom. I don't want to send it to Logan's mom, Mrs. Penzel. I want to make sure that I get the name right. So Stephanie Garcia, and then here it is. I just click it, and then it's going to send it to me. Now let's say I wanted to share it with, let's pretend like Claire Coney, Mrs. Coney is my mom. If I want to share it with my mom, I'm going to add in her email address, and then I can send a note. So if I'm sending this to my mom, Miss Coney, and Mrs. Catanasso, my teacher, I'm going to say something like, hi, Mrs. Catanasso, checking my spelling. Here is my play review for you to look at. Hope you enjoy it. Thanks. And then I just click send. I'm not really going to share it with Miss Coney, so I'm going to click out, but I'm going to then hit send. And now my document has been shared. All right, now for those of you who might be ready for this step, or for those of you who just like to plan ahead, here is an overview for tomorrow. So step 1 for tomorrow will be to set your writing timer for 30 minutes. Step 2 will be to revise and edit any paragraphs that you've not yet fixed up using both of our strategies, to and or not to and empathy lead the way. Then step 3 would be to write your conclusion if you hadn't done that yet. And step 4 would be to submit your final draft on Seesaw, so snap a photo of your entire review, or if you've typed it on Google, then you'll just share your Google Doc. Now, if you are someone who likes to work ahead, then you might be ready even for this step today, in which case you can totally submit your final review today and then have nothing for writing to worry about tomorrow. Can't wait to see all of your reviews. Good luck!